Okay, go.
All right, thank you. There's no X. Good afternoon to you all and welcome to English First Additional Language, Grade 12. Are you ready to embark on another learning experience with Miss Ash? I'm Hazel Chigwada. I will be taking you for English First Additional Language. I would like to start off with the picture that I'm having there. I know most of you, those that I've been working with, you know how I'm fond of pictures. In the picture there on the screen, there are two pictures. I just want you to think about what it is that's happening in the picture. If I may give you the chance to just have a look at the picture and tell me what is it that you see. If you have any answer, you can just write it and then I will see what do you think is happening in these two pictures that we have on our screen. Just look closely. All right, now on the screen I'm having two pictures. The first picture is a larger presentation of the smaller one. The people in the first picture are the same people that I'm having in the second picture, the smaller picture. However, the difference only lies in the size of the picture. The facial expressions, the number of people, and them being at a party had not changed. That's one thing that I would like you to remember as we go through our lesson, that in the bigger picture, we are having 5 people here, and these people, they are all happy at a party. And in the small picture, we are having just the same people, only that the size has changed, but the mood is still the same. From their facial expression, they are happy at a party. Please remember that as we journey through our lesson. Okay. Now, today's lesson is on summary writing, our paper 1, summary writing. I'm going to read to you from epidemic to pandemic. These days, we've been bombarded by words of war with regards to the coronavirus. We have had so many on the origins, we have read, we have had documentaries, we have had some movies, we have had people researching, and we have also heard of signs and symptoms, people advertising on signs and symptoms of this coronavirus. We have also been told of measures to take against the spread. And the most important thing that most of us are very eager and willing to listen to every day is the statistics. How far are we? How many new cases do we have? And what is it? How is the curve now? All right. Now, all these things, if you are to look at it, if we were to have a very big house, all the information will not be enough, will not be contained in there. But in just one statement, you can condense all that information, starting from the origins of this coronavirus up to the statistics as we stand today. You can simply condense all that in one statement like from epidemic to pandemic. In those 5 words, I have said a lot. Sorry, in the 4, I've just said a lot about this coronavirus. You know, it started as an epidemic, now it's a world pandemic, and the world had just been turned upside down. So, how do we link this to our summary writing? When you are writing a summary, there is a lot of information that you are presented with, but all you have to do is to condense that information and do not lose sight of the sense of that story or whatever you would have been presented with. I'm having coronavirus, the origins, research, all these things, they can be presented in a nutshell as from epidemic to pandemic. Now we are going to move on, and then we look at how best we can write a summary at grade 12. For our summary writing, we are going to look at the title. All the texts that we are presented with, they have titles, and you need to look at the title so that you know what it is that you are reading about before we look at the summary question. And once you know what you are going to read about, it will prepare you on what it is that the text is going, the turn is going to take. Then you are also going to look at identifying important points. How do we do that? We are going step by step and see how best we can identify important points that are related to a specific question. Then we will also look at redundancy. In some pieces of writing, writers enjoy looking and using a lot of words for a simple thing. So for summary, we are going to focus on that and see on how we can avoid that and just go straight to the point. Then we are going to look at recasting sentences. We are going to remodel this, to remold the sentences in our own words, but like I said, we do not lose focus. If our main subject is on coronavirus, it means we cannot substitute coronavirus with maybe the cholera one. We cannot. Then we go on to meaning of the original text maintained. Like I said, we do not lose focus of the original text. Then as we write our points, they should be in full sentences. And that's where we are going to look at our language. How best do we know on how to punctuate? How do we use our reported speech? So all those conventions are going to be used in summary writing. So summary writing is not isolated from the language that we learn. It's still part of language in a different way, as it's looking for a particular skill. Now we are moving on to the next one. At the end of the lesson, you will be able to 1. Read a chosen text, identify relevant points, recast sentences, form a working question and it's in quotes. Write the summary in point form. We are going to look at omission. What is it that we are going to omit? We are going to leave out as it's not relevant to summary writing. Figurative language, think of your similes, think of your metaphor, think of your imagery. Direct speech, examples. We don't need to waste time on examples or illustrations, straight to the point. So we omit all those things. Then we need to plan for the summary. And as we plan, we are going back to use our formulated working question, and we will be quoting from the text as it is. And from that quote, we are going to get the fact that will help us answer the question. So we will recast that quotation that we would have taken. So when we are recasting, we are molding that sentence but using our own words. And because we are summarizing, we are going to be using just a few words. So this is what I have for you, because I know you are eager to go on. Let's see how it's going to work. All right, now I'm having here a passage which I would like you to read. Sorry, it is just a few sentences from number 1 to number 6. I've extracted them from a certain paper, and I would like us to closely look at those sentences and see how best we can recast. I'm going to tell you once more. Recasting sentences is whereby we are remolding the sentence in our own words, and we are going to shorten the statement that we would have been given in reported speech. And in this case, for us to recast properly, we are going to do away with examples. We are going to do away with figurative language. We are going to do away with redundancy in sentences. So I'm going to start with number 1 with you. Number 1 reads, I'm extremely pessimistic at the moment about the possibility of our gaining a victory. This could be the Soweto Derby. And then you are saying, I'm extremely pessimistic at the moment about the possibility of our gaining a victory. Then you go back, think, there is the word extremely pessimistic, and you know already this person, he is not seeing himself or his team making it. So the opposite obviously is optimistic. So we can now replace our extremely pessimistic there. There is an adjective, there is an adverb, extremely pessimistic. We are describing how, okay, at the moment about the possibility of our gaining a victory. So we can say, I am pessimistic at the moment about the possibility of our gaining a victory. Now, I am not sure. I know we are not going to win. That's being pessimistic. So you will replace all these words with a simple sentence. I am negative about our gaining a victory. I don't see, I'm sure we are not going to win. You have used your words and you have just played around with removing extremely pessimistic there and gaining, and you have said winning or attaining a victory. Use your own words. Try to replace some of the words that we have there. So the first one, you will end up saying, I am negative, because there is extremely pessimistic. I am replacing it with negative. So you can say, I am negative at our possibility of attaining a victory. I've just substituted pessimistic and gaining, and I got rid of at the moment. So I have used my own words to recast that sentence. Now I would like us to go on to the second one. The growing onion is not at all finicky about the kind of weather he encounters, and does not mind heat or cold, wet or drought. What is it that you see in this sentence? Firstly, you ask yourself, what does the sentence mean? What is it that the writer is trying to put across to me? What are we talking about here? What's our subject? Remember, you don't change the subject. Let me quickly find out from you what is our subject in number 2. Let's hear if you have something, quickly write it and then I will get it from your charts. Let's see. Okay. Now, in our number 2, the main subject, what is it that we are talking about? We are talking about a growing onion. And now, if it's a growing onion, what are we being told about it? It had been personified, where they are saying growing onion is not at all finicky. The word finicky means fussy. So growing onion is not at all fussy about the kind of weather he encounters. From the pronoun he, we still have that personification being followed through. So instead of us personifying the onion, because we just want to summarize, we need to know what is it that they are saying about an onion. An onion is not a human being, so straight to the point, you will have an onion can grow very well despite different weather conditions. There are examples here. We have he does not mind heat or cold, wet or drought. These are examples of the weather conditions that the onion can survive. So you are going now to get rid of personification and get rid of examples. So your statement would read, the growing onion can survive in different weather conditions. We have eliminated the examples of weather conditions. We have not talked about it being a person like he and finicky. All right, so get rid of the unnecessary words. Number 3. One reason why highwaymen were so numerous was the amazing severity of our criminal law, which condemned to death any man convicted of theft, and therefore made the highwaymen feel that it was better to be hanged for a sheep than a lamb, since his life was sacrificed already. That's a very interesting one there. I just want you to critically look at that paragraph there. It is a very good and colorful paragraph where we can visualize and we can understand what's going on in the mind of these highwaymen. One reason why highwaymen were so numerous. Who are these highwaymen? These are the bandits, those people who would rob people who are traveling. And in the past, they would rob people who are traveling, who have maybe a lot of big trucks that are transporting large consignments from one area to another, and they will use guns to rob those people. So here we are being told that these highwaymen, they were a lot, despite the severity of the criminal law, which condemned to death any man convicted of theft. So if you rob the highwaymen, if they rob, they will be convicted of theft. But because this law that was there, it was so severe, these people thought that it would be better to be hanged for a sheep than a lamb. So they are now many, because if you are to steal something very small like a lamb, you will be judged the same as someone who would have stolen a sheep. So to them, what they are doing, robbing people who are traveling there, they are saying, we are robbing those who are the sheep, and we are the same with those who would have robbed someone who has a very small item, because already we are all going to be judged the same. We are all going to die. So instead of being so wordy, how best can we paraphrase this and without losing focus that they have already made up their mind? You can simply write. I just want you to try to write it somewhere and then you will post it. Let's see what you have. Okay, now here we are having the highwaymen. That's our subject. Don't leave it out. And other than the highwaymen, we are looking at the crime that they commit and the law. So in your summary, you need to have the highwaymen, the law, and the crime that they commit and their attitude. So 1, you will write, the highwaymen have increased despite the harsher criminal law because they feel all those who steal, they are going to die. 1, the highwaymen are so there are many. Despite the criminal law, which is severe, because whoever steals is going to die, or whoever steals is sentenced to death. You have summarized that. You have recast it using your own words. Then we go on to 4. One cannot deny that when one walks on a road, one can go much more quickly than one can across country. But it is my opinion that 25 miles of wood and field path are better in every way than 35 hammered out on the road. So here we are talking about 2 views. There is one view that if you walk on a road, you cover more than someone who walks across country. And this is a fact, but the writer has his own perspective. So when you summarize, do not dismiss the writer's perspective here. You have to bring it out. So you can safely say, walking on roads saves time and you walk quickly, though I still believe that walking on the country is better. Then we are going on to the next one, number 5. The intelligence of pigeons can surely not be doubted when one considers that homers can return to base from a foreign country hundreds of miles away, and that troops of pigeons on the variety stage go through spectacular evolutions with precision and docility. Now, this we are only talking about pigeons, the different types of pigeons that we have and how they show their intelligence. So instead of you giving examples of homers and troops and what they do, we are mainly going to look at the intelligence. So you are going to say pigeons are so intelligent as shown by their acts. That's one. Or you can say the intelligence of pigeons is so concrete as shown by the different types of pigeons. You are done. Then that's how you recast sentences. When you recast a sentence, look at the redundancy in your sentence, look at the use of simile, metaphor, look at the use of your exaggeration, look at the use of unwanted adjectives or adverbs. We don't need that. Look at illustrations or examples. Get rid of those and substitute words with your own words. How? By using some synonyms. And that way you would have done yourself a good job by using your own words. And then I'm going to give you now an example of a question. For any summary, there has to be a question, and you need to analyze the question before you do anything. Otherwise, you wouldn't have done yourself any favor. All right. Now, South Africa is facing a water crisis. You have been asked to write an article for your local newspaper on how to save water. Read text C below and list 7 points that you will include in your article on how to save water. Please read the instruction and interpret it properly and correctly. Here, what are we to do? 1. We need to read the text. And from that text, there is specific information that we are going to look for. We are going to look at information that I'm going to use on how to save water. That's what I'm looking for, and it has to be in point form. You are not writing the article, but you are writing points that you would use to write an article. Here we are just writing points. So there will be instructions that you must write it in point form, 7 points, number your sentences 1 up to 7, and when you number, you can have your A up to G, or you can have it as 1 to 7 and write only 1 point. No matter how many points you have, try to write 1 point per sentence and use your own words as far as possible and indicate the number of words and write in full sentences. That language aspect where we say a full sentence expresses a complete thought. We want to see it even when you do your summary work. Now, there is our text. And for this text, like I said, we need to read, and because we now have our question in mind, you need to formulate what we call a working question, a very simple and direct question that you would use as you go through your text. So for this one, because I am going to look at how do I save water, or what do we do to save water, that would be my working question. So after reading each paragraph, you ask yourself, what do I do to save water? What should South Africans do to save water according to this paragraph? If there is no answer in that paragraph, you leave it, go on to the next one. There is no need for you to do that. So I'm going to go paragraph by paragraph with you and then try to answer the questions as we go. I will be asking a question. I will read and you read too. South Africa ranks as one of the top 30 driest countries in the world. This knowledge should encourage a new approach towards the way we use our fragile water resources. As South Africans, we have had to change our behavior to adapt to electricity cuts. So the water crisis demands a change in our habits relating to water usage. This is but just an introduction. Let's ask ourselves, what should South Africans do to save water? Do we have any answer in there? No. Why? Because here we are just being told on changing our habits so that we save water. How? It had not been explained. So we go on to the next paragraph. We read, you read as I read as well. South Africa loses billions of rands annually through leaking taps and water pipes. It is important to repair or replace damaged water connections and washers to stop all leaks. Now, from there, I ask you the question, how should we save water? What should South Africans do to save water? Now, from there, I would like you to come up with an answer, because I'm seeing there's an answer there. Why? Where is the answer? Remember, I said you are free to quote as it is from the passage. After quoting, you are going to come up with a fact, or you come up with your recast sentence. So here I'm going to ask, I know you have it. All right. So from paragraph 2, I'm having here, it is important to repair or replace damaged water connections and washers to stop all leaks. From there, that's a quotation that I'm taking from my paragraph 2. So from there, how do I remold? How do I cast it? What other word can I use instead of repairing? I go for my fixing. What is it that I'm supposed to fix? I'm supposed to fix leaking taps, replace damaged water connections, and washers to stop all leaks. So what would be the answer or effect from there? Fix leaking taps and water pipes, or fix leaking pipes. Simple. Or you can write repair or replace damaged water connections. You have an answer there. Then we go on to the next paragraph. Filling a tub to take a bath uses double the amount of water than when one uses a shower. A dual flush toilet system needs far less water than the tank system. Water harvesting involves the collection of rainwater from gutters into a tank. This water can replace or supplement the main source of water when necessary. The grey water system entails diverting water mainly from the bathroom into a tank. This water can be utilized in the garden. Pay attention to the kinds of trees and plants that you have in your garden, as some consume more water than others, especially those that are not indigenous. So this paragraph, you ask yourself that working question: what should we do to preserve water? There is the issue of filling up a tub, which consumes a lot of water, double. So instead of filling it with water, what do? I need to take a shower. So point number 1 there, from filling a tub there to take a bath, I'm going to say use a shower when you are bathing. That's 1. Then number 2, there is mention of a dual flush toilet system. It has an advantage than the tank system. So what must I do? Use a dual flush toilet system. I have another point. What do I do to save water? It is also there in the next one. Water harvesting involves the collection of rainwater from gutters into a tank. So what do I have to do? Look at the verb. Harvest water, rainwater from gutters into a tank. Or because I don't want to be so wordy, I just say harvest rainwater from gutters into a tank. Then I move on to the next one. This water can replace or supplement the main source of water when necessary. That one, we are not answering the question, so I move on. The grey water system entails diverting water mainly from the bathroom into the tank. We are not worried about how it works, this system of grey water. All you have to do is use grey water. And then the next one, this water can be utilized in the garden. So use grey water for the garden. Then we go on. Pay attention to the kinds of trees and plants that you have in your garden. Why must I pay attention? Because some, they consume more water than the others. Instead of me giving examples and doing all that, I simply say choose plants that do not consume more water, and those that are not indigenous. So which ones must I choose? I must choose indigenous. So I will end up with my statement: choose indigenous plants as they do not consume a lot of water. Then you go on to the next one. From our third paragraph, if you have noted, we have a lot of points. All you have to do, go through the paragraph with your working question. What must we do to save water? And then you write it. As you write, you are planning. Then in the end, you go through your points and see how best you can come up with the 70 words that you are supposed to have. Count word by word, and remember, you have to write in full sentences. And for a full sentences, you know the structure, capital letter at the beginning, your main or the subject, and then whatever you write, the predicate. We need to see all those. Properly construct your sentences so that the sense or the meaning of preserving water or methods of preserving water is not lost, because that's our question. How do we save water? So you need to explain how. That how part must be evident in all your answers. Now you can go on up to the last paragraph. When you have to make a cup of tea or coffee, boil only the required amount of water. Instead of a cup of tea or coffee, what one word can we use instead of tea or coffee? Yes, we can simply use beverage. So you can say, when boiling water for beverage, just boil the required amount and you will be done. Then you go on to the next one. So this is exactly how you summarize. Go question by question, and then you ask yourself the question. And then, having said that, I would like us, I know you are all eager to go on. There are lots and lots of questions. Please revise that you'll be looking for as you are summarizing. So when you are summarizing, one, read the text, underline that text. And it's not always that you're supposed to summarize everything. You have to summarize only that which you need. So we are going to quickly look at this one. And as we look at the last text that I have for you, growing vegetables. And in this passage, you are being asked on, the question reads, write 7 points to show the benefits of growing your own vegetables. And like I said, first come up with a working question. And in your working question, you have to ask yourself now, one, what is the benefit of growing vegetables, my own vegetables? You read. Ask that question. If you have an answer, write it down or take it as a quotation, then later on rephrase it into a fact. So there's nothing like biting into a ripe tomato as you work in the garden. The taste of a tomato bought at a supermarket cannot compare to one that is freshly picked from your garden. In that paragraph, we ask ourselves, what benefit do we have there? Nothing. You move on to the next one. There is no need to use chemicals and pesticides in your vegetable garden. If you have problems with disease or pests, you can use natural remedies. Diseased plants can also be removed. Then in that paragraph, ask yourself, what are the benefits of growing vegetables? Then one, you can use natural remedies. You are done. You go on. That's how you answer a summary question using your text. And then as you go down, do not lose focus of the question. That's why I said always have your working question with you so that you do not lose any focus. If you need any more or any information with regards to summary writing, you know how to get in touch with me, and there will always be something for you. Now, your takeaway message. I know when we go to parties, when we go somewhere, we always want a takeaway. Now, my takeaway message for you today is, when summarizing, remember you are condensing information or words. The sense should never be lost. That's the very important. If it's the tone of that sentence, do not lose it as you condense. It has to remain the same. Think of our picture that we had. We condensed it, but we remained with our 5 characters. They are happy, they are smiling. The same with you when you are summarizing. Do not change anything. It has to remain the same. Then you need to formulate your own working question to guide you as you identify points. Now, how do I do that? First, read the summary question. After reading the summary question, try to put it in your own simple English that you understand and you'll be able to answer. But as you formulate that sentence, do not change the question. You are just using simple language that you are able to follow and come up with the answer. Then you need to count the number of words and indicate how many words you would have used. The question says 70 words. We need 70 words. And these are in point form. So if you are writing in point form, it doesn't mean you write points like you do when you make your own notes. You are going to use full sentences that can be understood by the marker as he or she goes through your work. Remember, you will not be there. So make sure your sentences are clear, full and complete. And then focus on the question. Do not forget, we have a specific question that we are answering. So do not lose focus of the question. Do not change the subject of the sentence when you are writing. We are still talking about the same thing. All you are doing is you are just condensing. And like I said, as you are condensing, do not use direct speech. Do not use your figurative language, your similes, your metaphors. Forget about all those things. There is no time for you to be flowery when you are writing. Straight and direct to the point. And with this, I say thank you so much for joining me today. Join me some other time when we have another lesson on English First Additional Language, and we'll be looking at different aspects, not only paper one. We still have some poetry to do. We still have some language in context and editing to do. Thank you so much. If you need any information, you can tag us on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Africa Teen Geeks, or hashtag Lockdown eSchool, hashtag SaySol Foundation, at DBE_SA, at Miss Zora. And for more resources, go to www.ecurriculum.co.za. You will have a lot of resources that will help you prepare for matric exam. I know you are ready to write. Thank you so much for being in attendance today.